It started with a simple update. I got a notification on my phone telling me that my WhatsApp application wasn't up to date and needed updating to the latest version before I could continue using it. Thinking nothing of it, I went ahead and accepted, letting it update while my phone was on charge. I didn't bother checking the new settings or privacy terms, assuming nothing much would have changed except for a few bug fixes or added features. A couple of days after I had updated the app, I was sitting at home, scrolling through social media when I got a new WhatsApp message. It was from an unknown number. I was very careful about who I handed my number out to, especially businesses who might sell it off, so I rarely received calls or messages from unknown IDs, especially on WhatsApp, which is why I thought it was odd. I pulled up the app on my phone and checked the message. As expected, it was just spam. Some company trying to rope me into clicking on a link I definitely shouldn't click on. I deleted the message immediately and thought nothing else of it, though I did find myself wondering where they could have gotten my number from, given the precautions I normally took. That wasn't the last message I received from an unknown source. Later that afternoon, my phone pinged with another one, this time from a different unknown number. Another spam message that went straight into the deleted folder. I tried to ignore it and assume it was just an annoying coincidence, but it bothered me that WhatsApp's privacy settings must have become more lenient as to who they let contact me against my wishes. I checked my settings but couldn't see an option to prevent unknown numbers from contacting me, so I simply hoped that that was the last of it. Over the next few days, however, my phone kept getting spammed with scam messages and links from contacts I'd never heard of, and it became obvious my number had been sold off to these companies. The only thing that had changed recently was the WhatsApp update, something I now seriously regretted agreeing to. I was annoyed, but there wasn't a lot I could do without deleting the app altogether, which I wanted to avoid since it was the only way I could keep in contact with some people. About a week after the update, I received a message unlike any of the others that had slipped into my inbox. It was another unknown number, but the message itself wasn't a business scam like the rest. It was one of those chain messages that I remembered seeing a lot back in high school. Kids messing around and pretending to spread curses and misfortune if you didn't forward a certain message to a certain number of people. If you don't send this message to 5 people in 5 days, the Twisted Man will get you. But that wasn't all. There was a picture too. When I first read the message, it hadn't loaded properly and came up as nothing but a blurred image of nothing. Then it loaded, and I almost dropped the phone. It was an image of a man, although creature might have been a more apt description, since nothing about it was completely human. Pale, waxen skin and deep-hooded eyes that seemed more like 2 polished pieces of coal. Its mouth was an open slit, the lips white and bloodless. But it wasn't the face that scared me so much as its body. The way it was twisted like that, with its loose skin and sinewy muscle, its crooked neck and long dangly limbs that reminded me far too much of an arachnid. I hastily clicked away from the message and the picture, feeling nausea grip my stomach. Now I was getting jump scared in a text? What the hell was wrong with people these days? What if I'd been a kid? Opening a message like that would have given me nightmares for years probably. Curling my lip in annoyance, I deleted the message. It was nonsense anyway. The Twisted Man was just someone's Photoshop creation designed to scare and trick people. That's all chain messages did, prey on people's ignorance and naivety. I put the phone down and went about the rest of my day trying to get that horrible picture out of my head. Only I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I would glimpse that dark gaze and twisted body, like it was skulking around in the shadows of my mind. I forced myself to think of something else, but I could still feel it there, just lingering out of sight. I knew I was being silly and paranoid, but nothing I did would get that image out of my head. It was like my own brain was trying to torture me with the creepiness of it. By the time the sky outside had begun to darken, I was already starting to forget about the chain message and the image of the Twisted Man. I sat down in the living room and reached for the television remote, hoping to relax with some program. In the split second before the TV screen flickered to life, I glimpsed something standing behind me in the reflection. Something with deep, hooded eyes and a twisted body. With a start, I staggered to my feet and turned around, expecting to see the Twisted Man standing behind me, like it had in the reflection. But there was nothing there. My heart thundered in my chest, the sound of my own pulse drowning out the noise from the television. What the hell? Had I just imagined that? I must have. There was no way the Twisted Man had actually been standing behind me because it wasn't real. It was just some stupid prank. If you don't send this message to 5 people in 5 days, the Twisted Man will get you. The message flashed up in my mind again, but I just as quickly dismissed it. It wasn't real, so why was I getting so hung up over it? When my heart had finally calmed down again, I checked behind the sofa and the rest of the house, just to be sure. But there really was nothing, or nobody there. It was all in my head. Even knowing that, however, wasn't enough to get it out of my head. When I went to sleep that night, I kept waking up thinking that the Twisted Man was somewhere in my room watching me sleep. Which I knew was impossible and made no sense, but it was a feeling I couldn't seem to shake off, no matter what I did. At one point, when I awoke in the early hours, and the room was still dark, I thought I glimpsed a shadow standing, 2 coal black eyes watching me. But when I turned my light on to check, there was nothing there at all. 3 days after I received the chain message, things got a bit too much. I was in the bathroom one night, brushing my teeth before I went to bed. I bent down to spit and rinse my mouth, and when I stood back up again, I saw something in the mirror. It was a sticky note with a picture of the Twisted Man. It read, "If you don't send the message to 5 people, the Twisted Man will get you." My whole body started to shake with fear. I was too scared to even leave the bathroom for a good 10 minutes. It was all real, and I had less than 2 days before he came for me. Even though my brain knew the Twisted Man couldn't be real, the fear that I felt was. I mean, someone was definitely behind this Twisted Man shit, and they knew where I lived. I couldn't keep going on like this, terrified that the Twisted Man would be lurking around every corner, waiting for me. When I finally worked up the courage to leave the bathroom, I grabbed my phone where I'd left it on my bed and forwarded that stupid message to 5 of my close friends. Then I put the phone down and let out a heavy sigh of relief, feeling like a burden had been lifted from my shoulders. After that, I never encountered anything strange. Though, every so often, I still dreamt about him and wondered what might have happened if I didn't forward that message.